So as I work and spend most of my time around the New Forest, I thought I ought to do a video on the New Forest. Let you see what it looks like. So most of the forest is pretty much like this. Sort of open heathland, trees. And you've got horses, ponies, cows, pigs, all sort of running around free. So there's loads of pubs in the forest, and I can't cover them all, but here's a few that I've been to and like. This one is called the Alice Lisle. Huge dining area inside, huge garden with seating, kids play area, really good pub, good food. I like this one. So Rockford Common is worth a look. There's parking here, there's some nice walks. As a matter of fact, one of the walks you do, you can end up at a pub called the Red Shoe Inn, and there's also camping there as well, so I'll show you that in a minute. But otherwise, let me show you what's at Rockford Common. There's this huge sand pit here. I don't know if you can make out yet just how big that is. You can see there's people walking down it at the moment. Now, we're not sure. This, we think, is one of the oldest oak trees in the forest. Obviously not a lot left of it now. I'm not sure if it's the oldest though. I think Knightwood oak might be the oldest, but there you go. So as you can see, parking gets pretty busy in the forest, especially when the weather's good. A few van lifers here as well. Obviously it's worth pointing out, you can't really sleep in these car parks. Some people do, but there's rangers that can come round and move you on, so it does say that there's no wild camping allowed in the forest. Now there are lots of campsites. I'll show you some of them today. The only thing that's not so good is that some of them are quite expensive, but that's where you should stay. And that behind me is the Red Shoe Inn. They do a really good Sunday roast in there. And also, they have camping. There's a campsite just behind the pub. And there's a sign there for the High Corner Inn as well, which is really nice. So I'll show you that next. So the main road here is only a single track road. Then you come off of that to get to the High Corner, down this dirt track. It's easy to think that you're going the wrong way, or that you've ended up down the wrong track, but eventually you get to this pub, restaurant, hotel type place. So yeah, High Corner's really nice food there. I've not stayed here, I've only eaten and drunk here, but it was very nice. Now it's not cheap. I think a roast dinner was like 25 quid, but it was a bloody good roast dinner. So here's another pub worth visiting, the Sir Walter Tyrrell. And this is just down the road from the Rufus Stone, which we shall see in a minute. And I'll explain who Sir Walter Tyrrell is, or was. So, two things. Firstly, the Rufus Stone isn't a stone, it's a chunk of metal. And secondly, why is it here? Well, if we go back, 1066, William I invades Britain, beats the English at the Battle of Hastings, and he decides that he's going to have this area, the New Forest, as his royal hunting ground. Now, William I has 4 sons. He's killed in France in, I think, 1087, and he names his 3rd son, William II, as the King of England. William II is here with this group of friends out hunting, and one of the people he's with is his brother Henry. Anyway, they're out hunting, so Walter Tyrrell supposedly tries to shoot a stag, but the arrow bounces off an oak tree and hits William II, also called, by the way, King Rufus, hits him in the chest and kills him. Now, the reason he's called Rufus, by the way, is because he's got ginger hair, and Rufus means red. So anyway, the arrow strikes him, he falls to his death, and rather than them collecting the body and sort of taking him to a doctor, they just leave him for dead. So there you go, there's the Rufus Stone. It's nice walks around here, and as you've seen earlier, there's a pub, the Sir Walter Tyrrell, which is a nice place to go and get a bite to eat and a beer. So yeah, so this isn't a memorial to where King Rufus fell, it's just a memorial to where the oak tree stood, where the arrow bounced off of it and killed King William II, if that makes sense. So if the New Forest had a capital, it would probably be Lyndhurst. And if you're coming to Lyndhurst, you're going to see Bolton's Bench. Now, if I was you, I would park here, because parking here is free, and once you've had a little wander around Bolton's Bench, you can then walk into Lyndhurst and go and get yourself a bite to eat and have a little look around. There's loads of tea shops, coffee shops, cafes, tourist shops and what have you, and yeah, it's a nice little place to look around. Take a look in the Ferrari garage when you're in Lyndhurst. So if you're coming to Bewley, you're more than likely going to the Motor Museum. There's not lots to see aside from that, other than a little walk along the waterfront, a few little shops, a garage that sells sort of classic cars, and you can walk to a place called Buckler's Hard, which is just along the water, which is where they used to make boats. So it's worth coming to Lymington if you're down in the New Forest. There's lots of sort of old shops and cobbled streets down by the waterfront, and then as you go up into the high street, if you come on a Saturday, there's a market. So the high street is shut and there's market stalls all the way along. So I like it at Hurst Castle for a number of reasons. Firstly, you can park and sleep down here and you've got a fantastic view in the morning. Secondly, there's a really nice walk to Hurst Castle itself along this sort of shingle sort of bank. So as I said earlier, if you're camping in the forest, you need to be on a site really, rather than wild camping. This site's closed for the winter. I think most of them are, but there might be a couple that are still open. Now the campsites used to be run by New Forest Council, and they used to be cheap. And as a kid I've stayed here a few times. Now they're run by a private company and in my opinion, a bit too expensive for what they are, but there you go. If you want to come here, they've got the monopoly really. But let me show you what the sites are like. So yeah, there's the little reception. So this is Ocknell. There's no electric hookups here. There is toilets, and is there showers? There showers here? Yeah. Do you know what? Now I'm not so sure. I know there was toilets, but I'm not sure if there's showers. Oh, and there's a reception, and it says there's a shop, but it just sells a few little essentials. Toilet block, and then you've sort of got a mixture of areas there with a hard standing or grassy areas here that you can park up on. Now, it doesn't look very impressive where we are at the moment, but I'll show you the spot where we stayed, and well, it's still on this site, but it looks a bit nicer. So I've just checked online, and there aren't showers here, just toilets. So there's no designated pitches here. You can just turn up and pay, and then choose where you want to stay on site. Some of the bits I showed you earlier didn't look quite so nice, but then you've got areas like this that do look nice. So I set up camp just here. Nice little spot under the trees. Not a bad view to wake up to, is it? But the only downside with Ocknell is that you can hear a bit of the road noise from the A31, a sort of rumble in the distance, but still not a bad little site. Right, so I've just noticed this sign on the toilet block here that's all closed up, saying this is closed, see you in the spring, but it shows you here which ones are open all year round. So Setthorns is open, and that's it. All the rest are closed until spring. So I've stayed at Hurst campsite a few times. That's got toilets and showers, and is walking distance to a couple of pubs and restaurants. But I think when I looked last year, Hurst was about £36 a night, which is a lot of money really, just to park on a bit of grass. So I'm not sure if you could see, but there's quite a few camper vans down there in the distance, and my guess is some of those will have just wild camped here tonight. There's a big car park there. It was part of an old World War II airfield, and I think it's a sort of popular spot. I've slept there, and I never got moved on. Sometimes, if you're just in the right place at the right time, you can find yourself really close to a stag.